ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। Welcome everybody. We will start with the reading from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So this is just in the beginning when Mahendranath Gupta just starts visiting the master, and he asks the most important question, and Sri Ramakrishna's short answer contains the gist of all we have to do to progress in spiritual life.
Mahendranath Gupta, humbly, yes, sir. How, sir, may we fix our minds on God? Master, repeat God's name and sing His glories and keep holy company, and now and then visit God's devotees and holy men. The mind cannot dwell on God if it is immersed day and night in worldliness, in worldly duties and responsibilities. It is most necessary to go into solitude now and then and think of God. To fix the mind on God is very difficult in the beginning unless one practices meditation in solitude. When a tree is young, it should be fenced all around, otherwise, it may be destroyed by cattle. To meditate, you should withdraw within yourself or retire to a secluded corner or to the forest. And you should always discriminate between the real and the unreal. God alone is real, the eternal substance. All else is unreal, that is, impermanent. By discriminating thus, one should shake off impermanent objects from the mind. Mahendranath, humbly, how ought we to live in the world? Master, do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Live with all, with wife and children, father and mother, and serve them. Treat them as if they were very dear to you, but know in your heart of hearts that they do not belong to you. A maid servant in the house of a rich man performs all the household duties, but her thoughts are fixed on her own home in her native village. She brings up her master's children as if they were her own. She even speaks of them as my Rama or my Hari. But in her own mind, she knows very well that they do not belong to her at all. The tortoise moves about in the water, but can you guess where her thoughts are? There on the bank where her eggs are lying. Do all your duties in the world, but keep your mind on God. If you enter the world without first cultivating love for God, you will be entangled more and more. You will be overwhelmed with its danger, its grief, its sorrows. And the more you think of worldly things, the more you will be attached to them. First, rub your hands with oil and then break open the jackfruit. Otherwise, they will be smeared with its sticky milk. First, secure the oil of divine love and then set your hands to the duties of the world. But one must go into solitude to attain this divine love. To get butter from milk, you must let it set into curd in a secluded spot. If it is too much disturbed, milk won't turn into curd. Next, you must put aside all other duties, sit in a quiet spot, and churn the curd. only then do you get better. Further, by meditating on God in solitude, the mind acquires knowledge, dispassion, and devotion. But the very same mind goes downward if it dwells in the world. In the world, there is only one thought: money and enjoyment. The world is water and the mind milk. If you pour milk into water, they become one. You cannot find the pure milk anymore. But turn the milk into curd and churn it into butter. Then, when the butter is placed in water, it will float. So, practice spiritual discipline in solitude and obtain the butter of knowledge and love. Even if you keep the butter in the water of the world, the two will not mix. The butter will float.
Achandala pratihatarayo yasya prema pravaha lokatito yanajaha लोककल्याणमार्गम् त्रैलोक्येऽप्य प्रतिममहिमा जानकी प्राणबन्धो भक्त्या ज्ञानं वृतवरवपुः सीतया योगिराम.
He who was Sri Rama, whose stream of love flowed with resistless might even to the Chandala, the outcast. Oh, whoever was engaged in doing good to the world, though superhuman by nature, whose renown there is none to equal in the three worlds. Sita's beloved, whose body of knowledge supreme was covered by devotion sweet in the form of Sita.
स्तब्धीकृत्य प्रलयकलितं वाहवोत्थं महान्तम् हित्वा रात्रिं प्रकृतिसहजाम् अन्धतामिश्रमिश्राम् गीतं शान्तं मधुरमपि यः सिंहनादं जगर्ज सोऽयं जातः प्रथितपुरुषो रामकृष्ण स्त्विदानी.
He who quelled the noise, terrible like that at the time of destruction, arising from the battle of Kurukshetra, who destroyed the terrible yet natural night of ignorance of Arjuna, and who roared out Gita sweet and appeasing, that renowned soul is born now as Sri Ramakrishna.
So, Swami Vivekananda has said many things about the Master on various occasions, and his famous talk is there, My Master, which is actually a combination of two talks which he had given in USA, and one very, very important writing by him, about the master and about the background, the state of India at that time, and the whole gamut of what an incarnation is about, how it is related to the Vedas, was absolutely, that depth is, we cannot even imagine. It is a very short but very, very important article, which is Hinduism and Sri Ramakrishna. So I will just read a portion from that. That dharma which is meant for the stability of the world and is the direct means to both secular and spiritual welfare of human beings continues to be followed by persons who aspire after the highest truth. But as we know, dharma declines in course of time. So Swamiji says, when after a long time dharma becomes overpowered by adharma, and adharma increases owing to the deterioration of discriminative knowledge caused by the rise of desire in the minds of the followers of this dharma. Then, as tradition goes, Vishnu, called Narayana, takes birth, as we know. So, Swamiji says he took birth as Krishna, the son of Devaki, for ensuring the stability of the world. So first, Sri Ramchandra, you know, then Krishna. Then what happened? When by the process of time, fallen from the true ideals and rules of conduct, and devoid of the spirit of renunciation, the descendants of the Aryans failed to appreciate the spirit of the scriptures, and when, as a consequence, they reduced India, the fair land of religion, to a scene of almost infernal confusion by breaking up piecemeal the eternal religions of the Vedas, which is called Sanatana Dharma. The grand synthesis of all the aspects of the spiritual ideal. So this was the original Vedas, the grand synthesis. Then what happened? People, because their mind became ridden with desires, they broke this up. They began to give their own interpretation. They broke this into conflicting sects, and by seeking to sacrifice one another in the flames of sectarian hatred and intolerance. So this was the situation. It's a very long, I have just read a small portion. So this was the situation. People began to leave the eternal religion of the Vedas, which had the grand principle that all paths lead to one goal, and they formed their own sects because each wanted a name for himself, all the leaders and all that. So they said, no, my path is the only path. All other paths are wrong. All this kind of thing. And this led to hatred, because naturally when you promote exclusiveness, then there will be resistance from all sides. When you try to separate yourselves from others. So, formation of sects which leads to hatred and intolerance. So when this was the situation, then what happened? Swamiji says, then it was that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna incarnated himself in India to demonstrate what the true religion of the Aryan race is, to show where amidst all its many divisions and offshoots scattered over the land in the course of its immemorial history lies the true unity of the Hindu religion. So this was the main work. Sri Ramakrishna's main work in this age. So, to manifest, to bring before our eyes the true unity of this religion, which by its overwhelming number of sects, which are discordant to superficial view, quarreling constantly with each other, and abounding in customs divergent in every way, has constituted itself a misleading enigma for our countrymen. So many things have been said in this small sentence. So, because there are overwhelming number of sects in Hinduism, and he says discordant to superficial view. If someone does not go deep, then it seems all are different. One is telling Vishnu is the greatest, one is telling Shakti is the greatest, someone is telling Shiva is the greatest, but it is all superficial. Actually, it is not discordant. So then what happens? Those who see only superficially, they start quarreling. And because they cannot understand the gist, the truth of the scriptures, they start fighting about the customs which each sect has. Underneath, it is all the same. It differs only in some small customs, and they begin fighting over those customs. So, this is the state of our countrymen, and when we are fighting, what happens? Our religion becomes what? Swamiji says, the butt of contempt for foreigners. These people, barbarians, they have 30 crores gods and goddesses. Each is fighting among themselves, all the sect. So, when this was the situation, Sri Ramakrishna came. Then he again comes back to the main theme, why he came. So he came to hold up before human beings for the lasting welfare as a living embodiment of the Sanatana Dharma, his own wonderful life. He did not come and give lectures from this book or that book. He himself was the living embodiment of this Sanatana Dharma. So by his own life, he showed that all these paths, they are not at all contradictory, not at all discordant. They all lead to one and the same goal. So, to hold this truth up before human beings for their lasting welfare, so that they can stop fighting and start progressing towards God. So he himself came, becoming the living embodiment of the Sanatana Dharma, and with his own wonderful life, he showed this. And in his life, what was the characteristic? He infused the universal spirit and character of this dharma. Universal spirit, so long cast into oblivion by the process of time. So this has gone deep inside the real truth of the scriptures. People were on the surface and they were fighting only. So he came as a living embodiment of the Vedic religion, and in this his own life he infused the universal spirit and character of the Vedic religion, which is called the Sanatana Dharma or the eternal Dharma. So this is one point. And another speciality of Sri Ramakrishna was what? He had read practically nothing. He could sign his name more or less, and he could write simple sentences in his own mother tongue. Apart from that, he was practically unlettered. So, now what was the reason for that? Before when God came, he came as a king or he came great scholar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a very, very great scholar. So what was the reason for this? Why did he come in this form, unlettered Brahmin? So Swamiji tells us the answer. So before we started reading, Swamiji had told many things about the Vedas, which we will discuss at some other time. So Vedic truths, Swamiji says, Vedic truths are always present. Nobody has created the Vedas. Since nobody has created the Vedas, nobody has created spiritual truths. They are always there. They were there, they are there, and they will be there. That's why they are called eternal religion. So someone may doubt this, no? So in order to show how the Vedic truths eternally existent as the instrument with the Creator in his work of creation, preservation and dissolution of the universe. Actually, this one article Swamiji said so many things. So he says here, first, the Vedic truths are eternally existent. Second, they are the instrument. What are the truths mentioned in the Vedas are the instrument with which God creates, preserves and dissolves the universe. Just imagine. So, to show that these Vedic truths reveal themselves spontaneously in the minds of the rishis, purified from all worldly attachment. So, it is not that for you to become a rishi, you have to read this, you have to read that, you have to become a great scholar, you have to defeat this person, that person. No. All we have to do is rid the mind of worldly attachment. When that is done, the truths which are already there will become manifest. So when we want light, you don't go and create electricity. Electricity is always there. You just make the light fit for manifesting that illumination. So here also Swamiji says, to show that Vedic truths are always there, and as soon as someone's mind is freed from worldliness completely, they will manifest themselves of themselves. To show this, the Lord means God, though the very embodiment of the Vedas is knowledge, God is the embodiment of the Vedas, so He is infinite knowledge. But to show this truth, He came in His new incarnation. He thoroughly discarded all forms of external learning. Otherwise, people may have thought to demonstrate Vedic truths, to realize them, you need big scholarship and all these things. He showed no. You don't need anything except a pure mind. That the Lord incarnates again and again in human form for the protection of the Vedas or the true religion and of Brahminhood or the ministry of that religion is a doctrine well established in our scriptures. And this has been shown again and again by all the incarnations which have come not only in India but throughout the world. So, just a small portion, actually, it needs some detailed discussion if you want to read this in detail. It is very, very pregnant. So today we will, as you may have seen, that we try to examine some particular aspect of Sri Ramakrishna's life every year. We change the topic of discussion so that different facets we can see. So today we will focus on one aspect, that is the infinite mercy, infinite compassion of Sri Ramakrishna, and we will read the corresponding passages which are already selected. Before we start, we will have a song. So about the topic of discussion today, we will start from the words of Swami Sardanandaji himself. So here he explains, they all began to go to Sri Ramakrishna one by one. No, first Swamiji, Sardanandaji, Ramakrishna and all that. So all of them went, but all of them formed a slightly different idea of the master. Some thought he was a saint, some thought no, he was more than just an ordinary saint, etc. etc. But naturally, it was Swami Vivekananda who, among the disciples, recognized first the real nature of Sri Ramakrishna, who he really was. So, these people said afterwards that our eyes were opened by Narendra. So what happened? Once, they used to visit each other's home. Swami Vivekananda's home, Sardanandaji visited first Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna told them to mix with each other. He knew that they will form the nucleus of the movement. So once Sardanandaji had gone to Swami Vivekananda. So I quote him now. Narendra once described a wonderful incident to us. He told us about it in the winter of 1884, when we were already well acquainted. So they had become friends at that time. We believe that the incident must have taken place during this period, around that time. So we remember going to Narendra's house at Gaur Mohan Mukherjee Street in Shimla on that day a little before noon and staying there till 11 at night. And along with Sharat, that is Swami Sardananda, Shashi was also there. Shashi means Swami Ramakrishna. Since our first meeting, we had felt a divine attraction to Narendra, and this feeling was intensified 1,000-fold that day. Before this meeting, we had understood the Master to be a knower of God and a perfect soul. But on that day, Narendra's inspired talks brought a new light to our hearts. We realized that the extraordinary events recorded in the lives of Jesus, Chaitanya, and other great teachers of the world, which we had studied but disbelieved, had parallels in the Master's life also. With merely a touch or his desire, the Master released from bondage those who had taken refuge in him and granted them devotion. He granted them samadhi, thus endowing them with divine bliss. Or he diverted the course of their lives into a spiritual channel so strong that they attained a vision of God immediately and were blessed forever. So how did they realize all this? He has told they realized because of their meeting with Swami Vivekananda. How? What happened? So he now says, we remember that in the evening, Narendra took us for a walk in the Cornwallis Square. On the way, he told us of divine experiences that he had by the grace of the Master. First he told, then he became absorbed within himself for a while and then expressed what he wanted to say in the through the medium of a song. What song was there? This song relates to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very many names, Gora, Nimai, all these names are there. So here it is called Gora. So he began to sing this song. Gora bestows, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also bestowed divine love. He was the incarnation of love, so to say. Some say that Radha had incarnated as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Gora bestows the nectar of love. Jar after jar he pours it out, and still there is no end. Sweetest Nitai, again, Nitai was huh? Another name of Chaitanya is Nitai, no? Or Nitai is Nityananda, okay. So sweetest Nitai is summoning all. Beloved Gora bids them come. Shantipur is almost drowned, and Nadia is flooded with love. So this was the song. So this means that he is distributing divine love everywhere. Then, when he had finished singing, Narendra said, now he relates this to Sri Ramakrishna. He says, he is actually distributing love. Love, devotion, knowledge, liberation, and whatever one desires. Sri Ramakrishna is bestowing upon us whatever he wishes. What wonderful power! Then he became silent and then told them of this amazing incident. One night, I was lying on my bed, means Swami Vivekananda was lying on his bed with the door bolted. The door is closed. Then suddenly he attracted me. Sri Ramakrishna attracted him. How? He attracted me, rather the soul that lives in this body. Sri Ramakrishna is sitting in Dakshineshwar. He took Narendra out from his body and drew me to Dakshineshwar. Can we even imagine that? Of course, maybe Swamiji was the only one fit for that, but that is a separate thing. So, suddenly he attracted me, rather the soul that lives in the body, and drew me to Dakshineshwar. He talked with me about various topics, gave me advice, and finally allowed me to return home. He is lying on his bed, the body is lying on his bed. He took Swamiji's soul out, brought him to Dakshineshwar, gave him a lot of advice, then sent him back to his own body. Then he says, he can do anything. This Gora of Dakshineshwar means Chaitanya, who is now manifesting in the body of this God who is manifesting in the body of Sri Ramakrishna, can do anything. So after Swamiji said this, everybody naturally, what to say? So the evening shadows melted into a darkness so deep that we could not see each other. Means Narendra, Swamiji, this Narendra, Sharat, but it was not necessary to do so. Narendra's spiritual feelings penetrated our hearts, creating a divine intoxication that left us reeling. We felt as though the real world that we had perceived for so long had disappeared into a dream. We then realized the truth that what worldly people believe is nothing but a fabrication. This world is not true. And we also realized that the beginningless, infinite God had become manifest as a finite human being out of his unconditional grace and was destroying the bondage of jivas and setting in motion the wheel of dharma. So this divine realization they had. So we also say Avatara, Avatara, Varishta, but we are just saying. We don't realize. If somebody realizes, his whole life changes. So these people, with the help of Swamiji, and of course they were also not ordinary people, they were very, very great. So Sri Ramakrishna says, no, dry matchstick, you just need one, it will light up. So with Swamiji's grace, they understood this truth. Then we will read two more passages. One is how Sri Ramakrishna transformed Girish Chandra Ghosh, and another one, how he transformed Girish's friend, Kalipada Ghosh. So both were more or less the same. Both were habitual. But they were not ordinary. This we should remember. Yeah. Girish was a very, very great genius. So before that, we can have a song. So we will see how Sri Ramakrishna, you will read on the phone. Without phone, nothing can happen.
No, you have printout, I believe.
Yeah. So, Girish Chandra Ghosh, you already know. So, till here.
Okay.
Daya will read. Okay, sit down. So take this mic and read slowly and at a slow speed with emphasis on each word.
Girish Chandra Ghosh is such an example of the redeeming power of Sri Ramakrishna. Before he met Sri Ramakrishna, Girish Ghosh had a reckless, hedonistic life. He was self-proclaimed libertine and a rebel against God. When Girish was drunk, he had little control over his speech and behavior. Seeing him in this condition, nobody would like to even come near him. One night, said Girish, in a euphoric and drunken mood, I was visiting a house of ill fame with two of my friends. But suddenly I felt an urge to visit Sri Ramakrishna. My friends and I hired a carriage and drove out to Dakshineshwar. It was late at night and everyone was asleep. The three of us entered Sri Ramakrishna's room, tipsy and reeling. Sri Ramakrishna grasped both our hands and began to sing and dance in ecstasy. The thought flashed through my mind, here is a man whose love embraces all. Even a wicked man like me, whose own family would condemn me in this state. Surely this holy man, respected by the righteous, is also the savior of the fallen. One day, Girish Babu came to Dakshineshwar quite drunk. The master asked me, go and see if he left anything in his carriage. If you find something, bring it here. I did as I was told and found a bottle of wine and a glass. I brought both to the master. When the devotees saw the wine bottle, they began to laugh. But the master said to me, keep the bottle for him. He will want it for a final drink. Just see how liberal the master was towards his devotees. I used to accompany the master to the theatre where Girish Babu would show him much respect.
This I means it is Latu Maharaj. Latu Maharaj is telling this. Swami Adbhutananda.
He used to arrange for a high box seat for the master and appoint a man to fan him as well. He himself would often come to see the master on the upper level. On one occasion, Girish Babu approached the master quite drunk and addressed him affectionately. You must become my son. I have not been able to serve you in this life, but if you are born again as my son, I can do so. Please promise me that you will be my son. What are you saying? Asked the master. Why should I be born as your son? Then Girish became angry and abused the master in coarse language. The devotees who were present were very much shocked and upset and asked the master not to see Girish again. Sri Ramakrishna quietly returned to Dakshineshwar. He prayed, O Mother, Girish is an actor. How can he understand your glory? Mother, please forgive him. The devotees came to know of the incident at the theatre, and many of them told the master that he shouldn't visit Girish. Ram Babu also heard about it, and he came to Dakshineshwar the following day. As soon as he entered the room, the master asked him, Ram, what do you have to say about Girish? Sir, Ram Babu told him, the serpent Kaliya told Krishna, Lord, you have given me only poison. Where can I get nectar to offer you? It is the same with Girish. Where will he get nectar? Why, sir? Should you be displeased with him? The master responded, Then take us in your carriage to Girish's house. And the master, accompanied by Ram Babu, me, and two others, started for Girish Babu's home in Calcutta. Meanwhile, Girish Babu had been very repentant. He had refused food and was weeping a great deal. We reached his house a little before evening. Hearing that the master had come, Girish Babu approached him with tears in his eyes and fell at his feet. Only when the master said, all right, did he finally get up. A long conversation followed. I remember Girish Babu saying, Master, if you had not come today, I would have concluded that you still had not attained that supreme state of knowledge where praise and blame are equal, and moreover, that you could not be called a Paramahamsa, an illumined soul of the highest order. I would have considered you to be an ordinary man like us, but today I have understood that you are that supreme one. You will not be able to hide this from me anymore. I shall never desert you. My welfare is now in your hands. Please tell me that you will be responsible for me and that you will save me. Sri Ramakrishna once said to Girish, You utter many abusive and vulgar words, but that doesn't matter. It is better for these things to come out. There are some people who fall ill on account of blood poisoning. The more the poisoned blood finds an outlet, the better it is for them. You will be purer day by day. You will improve very much day by day. People will marvel at you.
So now we will see how Sri Ramakrishna also showered his grace on a friend of Girish Ghosh, who was very similar to him, not only in some bad habits, but he was also similar because of his tremendous faith. Kalipada also had tremendous faith that the master was the savior. So Upasana, you can please come here in front. There is a chair there. You can sit there. So put the tablet right in front. Otherwise the light, the window light is a problem. Bring it tablet in the window. Yeah. So you take the mic.
Girish Babu arrived one night with Kalipada Ghosh. Kalipada was a terrible drunkard. He refused to give money to his family, spending it for wine instead. But his wife was very devoted. I heard that many years earlier, she had come to the master seeking some kind of medicine that would change her husband's tendencies. The master sent her to Holy Mother, Holy Mother sent her back to the Master. He again sent her to Holy Mother. And this exchange went on 3 times. At last, Holy Mother wrote the Master's name on a bell leaf that had been offered to the Lord and gave it to Kalipado's wife, telling her to chant the Lord's name. Kalipado's wife chanted the Lord's name for 12 years. When the Master first met Kalipado, he said, "This man has come here after tormenting his wife for 12 years. Kalipado was startled but said nothing. Then the Master asked him, "What do you want?" Kalipado asked shamelessly, "Can you give me a little wine?" The Master smiled, "Yes, I can. But the wine I have is so intoxicating that you will not be able to bear it." The Master's Kalipada took him literally and said, "Is it real British wine? Please give me a little to soak my throat." "No, it is not British wine," said the Master, still smiling. "It is completely homemade. This This wine cannot be given to just anyone, for not everyone can stand it. If a person tastes this wine even once, British wine will seem insipid to him ever after. Are you ready to drink my wine instead of the other?" For a moment, Kalipado was thoughtful, and then I heard him say, "Please give me that wine which will make me intoxicated my entire life." The Master touched him, and Kalipado started to weep. We tried to calm him, but he went on weeping in spite of our attempts. After Kalipado's first meeting with Sri Ramakrishna, he returned home overwhelmed by the Master's words and personality. He felt an irresistible desire to see Sri Ramakrishna again. Shortly thereafter, in November 1884, he went by boat from Calcutta to Dakshineshwar. When the Master saw Kalipado, he said that he had just been thinking of going to Calcutta. Kalipado told him that his boat was at the landing ghat and that he would be glad to take him there. Sri Ramakrishna immediately got ready and left with Latu and Kalipado. As they got in the boat, however, Kalipado privately instructed the boatman to steer the boat to the middle of the river. Then Kalipado knelt down and clasped the Master's feet, saying, "Sir, you are a savior. Please save my life." "Oh, no, no," said Sri Ramakrishna. "Chant the name of the Lord. You will get liberation." Kalipada then said, "Sir, I am a wicked man and a drunkard. I do not even have time to chant the Lord's name. You are an ocean of mercy. Kindly save a ruffian such as I, who is devoid of disciplines and righteousness." Meanwhile, Kalipada firmly held on to the Master's feet. Sri Ramakrishna could find no other way out of this predicament. So he asked Kalipada to stick out his tongue and then wrote a mantra on it. The Master said, "Henceforth, your tongue will automatically repeat this mantra." But Kalipada was not happy. He said to the Master, "I don't want this." "Then what do you want?" asked Sri Ramakrishna. "When I leave this world," replied Kalipada, "I shall see darkness all around, and that terrible darkness will fill me with horror. My wife, children, and other relatives won't be able to help me then. At that terrible time, you will be my only savior. You will have to take me, holding a light with your left hand and me with your right hand. I shall always be with you then. You will have to fulfill this prayer of mine." With this heart full of compassion, the Master said, all right, your prayer will be fulfilled. My goodness, you have brought me to the middle of the Ganges and have created such a scene. But Kalipada's passing away, after Kalipada's passing away, Girish dedicated his play Sankaracharya to him. In the dedication, he wrote, "Brother, we saw the embodiment of Vedanta together many times in Dakshineshwar. You are now in the abode of bliss, but I am sorry that you could not see my play, Shankaracharya, while you were alive. I dedicate this work to you. Please accept it." Sri Ramakrishna had promised thrice in Swami Adbhutananda's presence that at the time of Kalipada's death he would take him, holding him by his right hand. Just as Kalipada breathed his last, he raised his right hand. Swami Premananda was present at the time. Hearing the news of Kalipada's death from Swami Premananda, Swami Adbhutananda said to some devotees, "Look, the master came to Kalipada at his last moment. Holding Kalipada's hand, the master took him away." Brother Baburam saw it clearly. Whatever the master said to anyone is bound to be fulfilled.
আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত জনে, আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত জনে, গাহো গাহো রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো গাহো রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। রাম কৃষ্ণ নামে রাম কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে, রাম কৃষ্ণ নামে রাম কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে, মাতিয়া উঠুক ধরা ধাম, মাতিয়া উঠুক ধরা ধাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। যে রাম সেই কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বগুরু রাম কৃষ্ণ, যে রাম সেই কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বগুরু রাম কৃষ্ণ, একাধারে শ্যামা শিব শ্যাম, একাধারে শ্যামা শিব শ্যাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। হরিতে ভূভার প্রেম অবতার, হরিতে ভূভার প্রেম অবতার, প্রভু রাম কৃষ্ণ গুণধাম, প্রভু রাম কৃষ্ণ গুণধাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত জনে, আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত জনে, গাহো গাহো রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো গাহো রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। রাম কৃষ্ণ নামে রাম কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে, রাম কৃষ্ণ নামে রাম কৃষ্ণ প্রেমে, মাতিয়া উঠুক ধরা ধাম, মাতিয়া উঠুক ধরা ধাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহো রে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। যে রাম সেই কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বগুরু রাম কৃষ্ণ, যে রাম সেই কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বগুরু একাধারে শ্যামা শিব শ্যাম, একাধারে শ্যামা শিব শ্যাম, গাহরে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহরে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ। হরিতে ভুভার প্রেম অবতার, হরিতে ভুভার প্রেম অবতার, প্রভু রাম কৃষ্ণ গুণধাম, প্রভু রাম কৃষ্ণ গুণধাম, গাহরে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম, গাহরে জয় জয় রাম কৃষ্ণ নাম। আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত জনে, আজি এই শুভ দিনে মিলিয়ে ভগত